you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the newly rebranded Greater Ashmont Main Streets District. My name's Joel Sklar, and I've had the honor of serving as the board chair of the Boston Main Streets Foundation for the last several years. As many of you know, the Boston Main Streets Foundation has in recent years been focused on raising funds from the private sector and issuing impact and innovation grants to the various Main Streets districts. To date, we have issued over 40 I&I grants, totaling over $200,000. So combined with the Citizens Challenge grant that we're honoring today, the foundation has now awarded over $350,000 to the Main Streets districts just in the last 3 years. So over the years, one of the consistent concerns we heard from our local businesses has been their desire to expand the marketing reach of the Main Streets program, spreading the word about the diverse and thriving retail corridors we have right here in Boston's neighborhoods to the tourists, to residents, and business people in Greater Boston and in surrounding communities. At the end of 2015, we were approached by Rick Musial from Citizens Bank. Rick is the Senior Vice President and Regional Director of Public Affairs at Citizens Bank, with an offer to provide significant funding to the Main Streets District for a focused program of some kind to be identified. The foundation saw this generous offer as a unique opportunity to begin addressing the marketing goal that we had heard so much about in a real and impactful way. Matching Citizens Bank's very generous $100,000 investment, we committed our own $50,000 commitment to this program, so we had $150,000 available for this challenge grant. And the foundation was able, with this money, to successfully launch what we expect will be a multi-year marketing effort to take Boston Main Streets to a higher level. The Citizens Challenge Grant addresses the marketing needs of Boston Main Streets on two levels. First, working closely with the city, Main Street staff, community members, many of you here, and a leading Boston-based branding firm, CTP, we were able to put in place a critical piece of the marketing infrastructure needed to raise the profile of Main Streets. The exciting new logo you see on this Main Streets banner, with 20 distinct colored segments forming a unified circular brand logo emblematic of the cultural diversity of our city's 20 districts. It's our goal that this distinctive icon will become a top-of-mind identifier of Boston Main Streets, leading a wide range of new customers to the Main Streets district, which, as our new logo tagline says, is where the locals go for their shopping, dining, and entertainment needs. With the help of CTP, which provided 40 hours of pro bono consulting work to the districts in preparing applications for this program, 9 districts applied for the Citizens Bank Challenge Grant funds with proposals on how they would leverage the new umbrella brand and create a marketing plan to promote their local commercial districts. Today, we are pleased to recognize the 5 Main Streets districts who were recipients of the Citizens Bank Challenge Grant. Grove Hall, they had a plan for their neighborhood of the future. Alston Village Main Streets, which used the funds for marketing Pop Alston, a very unique pop-up space that was sort of a community center in Alston Village. Eggleston Square, which utilized the funds for a social media campaign and local media outlets. Fields Corner Main Streets, which executed their Dining on Dot program. And of course, our host today, Greater Ashmont Main Streets, which used the funds from the Challenge Grant to completely rebrand and rename the Main Streets district from St. Mark's area Main Streets to what we see today, Greater Ashmont Main Streets. Now, none of this work we do at the foundation would be possible without the tremendous leadership and support of Mayor Walsh and his team in the city's Office of Small Business Development and the Main Streets program. From his earliest days in office, Mayor Walsh has made a clear commitment to small businesses and specifically to the Main Streets program, doubling the city's funding for on-site business assistance and increasing the city's direct financial support for the Main Streets program by 30% in the first year of his tenure. We also had a lot of fun this summer. Mayor Walsh worked with us to raise the profile and the citywide visibility of the Main Streets program, inviting Main Streets to host a series of beer gardens on City Hall Plaza this summer and fall, which introduced the new Main Streets brand and many of the Main Streets businesses to over 5,000 people who attended these very successful events. So Mayor Walsh, his commitment to small businesses has only grown throughout his tenure in office and now includes the establishment of the city's first small business plan, published in March, which sets out a clear roadmap for the development and support of small businesses throughout the city. I also want to acknowledge we have in attendance here today the people in charge of executing that small business plan and the mayor's vision. Chief of Economic Development, John Barros, is here. There's John. And Carolyn Crockett is also here, Director of the Office of Small Business. So at this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Walsh up to say a few words and to thank Rick Musil and Citizens Bank for their incredible support of the Boston Main Streets program.
Thank you very much, Joel. And I want to thank Joel for all his great work. I know when Joel took over as chair, he talked about making sure that we start to set records in raising money, and really he's put an incredible effort and team in place. And this doesn't work without having a strong chair and a strong board. As the Main Streets know, if you don't have a strong chair and a strong board, it's very difficult to move forward. And I want to thank you, Joel, for being our leader here in the city. So thank you very much for all your great work. I also want to thank Rick and all the folks at Citizens. I remember Rick and myself worked at the State House. He was on the Senate side, I was on the House side, and then he left and went over to Citizens, and we kind of, I knew what he was doing, but I didn't know the full magnitude, and knowing now, 3 years into this job, the partnership that Citizens has with the city in so many different areas, but particularly around the Main Streets. And I know a lot of it's driven from Rick and his dedication and commitment to our city. So I want to thank you. I'm going to talk about you a little more in a little bit, but thank you very much, and to all the Citizens team. Chris Douglas, thank you very much for hosting us today. As I ran in the front door, and I think I saw Jim Key first. I looked up and I looked at Jim. I said, I looked around. Am I in the right place? I haven't been in since the renovation. I apologize, but thank you very much. Philippe, thank you very much for hosting us today in the Greater Ashmont Main Streets. I can't get used to the Greater Ashmont Main Streets name, even though I'm the mayor, because for years the state representative of Ashmont Main Streets. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Steve Gilman as well. I know a bunch of other people. Karen was mentioned, John Barros, who's doing an incredible job, and you don't need to hear that, but what John does, and he treats GE, as does Carolyn, he treats GE as he treats, a small local business on the corner. It's about how do we expand and how do we grow. So I want to thank your team. And I also want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, friend of all of us, Steve Rumpler, who's been doing this work for a long time as well here in the city. And Steve Gilman as well, I know I mentioned him already, and all of you, all of the representatives from the different Main Streets around the city of Boston. I know most of your directors and board members here. Thank you for the work you do every day. It's great to be in the city, and when you go into the neighborhood where there's the Main Streets and seeing the excitement, and then when I've had a chance to walk the Main Streets with you personally, the commitment that you have to the neighborhood and the understanding you have in little chunks of different streets, and I want to thank you for that as well. But today is about thanking Citizens and the Boston Main Streets Foundation for their contributions directly to, Greater Ashmont, Eggleston Square, Austin Village, Greater Grove Hall, Fields Corner, all the Main Streets. Citizens understands the importance of these different areas in our Main Streets in our community. They understand that a thriving, healthy, innovative Main Street district helps Citizens Bank, and they certainly understand that by supporting us and giving back. The power of Main Streets right here in this neighborhood. The last year, in this neighborhood alone, in the Greater Ashmont Main Street District, 5 businesses opened, 51 special events. We saw a storefront occupancy rate at 92%. They launched a website redesign. If we stood here in this space 20 years ago, first of all, we'd be sitting on a parking lot. We'd be looking at a train station that needed repair. We'd see a bar across the street called the Ashmont Grill, Ashmont Grill, right? Was it still the same name? That needed, in desperate need of renovation. I think it was white with red writing. No windows. You certainly weren't going there to get a bowl of pasta. In Peabody Square, you could actually come up Ashmont Street and take a right over where the park is right now. And there was really no rhyme or reason to it. You didn't see what you saw. And the power of neighbors getting together and talking about making a change 20 years later, if you told some of the folks in this room, whether it was Jim or Chris or other people, and they told you that we would have 51 special events in the neighborhood, that 5 new businesses already opened in an area that already has tons of businesses, and the occupancy rate was 92%, they probably would have said, well, that's a nice dream, because that's what we want to do, when they started talking about this in the very beginning. The power of people and the power of Main Streets certainly can make a difference. The changes here in this neighborhood, but in particular over the last year, has taken this neighborhood and put them in a position to take advantage of the commercial growth opportunities in the neighborhood. Along with the help, what we're trying to do in the city hall, about bringing businesses to the community, not all just in the Seaport area and the downtown area or the Fenway area or the Boylston area. We're looking to say, how do we bring development to the neighborhoods? And what you're doing and what they're doing here is a huge statement to that piece. What Citizens is doing is showing a strong commitment to the city of Boston as well. Good corporate neighbors help us and complement programs like Restore, which help revitalize local storefronts. Over the past year, our Office of Economic Development completed 21 Restore projects in Dorchester, including Homestead Bakery, which is down the street here, which is a great bakery, in a spot for years we didn't know what to do with, because it was on a divider of Dorchester Avenue and Adams Street, and no one really knew what to do with that spot. We're like, what do we put there? And I was a state rep there for 17 years, and we didn't know. And now with some investment, it's changing the whole area. 208 Washington Street and the Kim's Flowers. Citizens' contributions also have helped us roll out the new Boston Main Streets brand across 20 of our Main Street districts. It's making our messaging stronger and more consistent citywide, something that's real important. We get some. It's going to help Bostonians and visitors who come to our city know what's going on in our local establishments. That includes long-term marketing planning, and that's something that I think has been missing for a long time in a lot of your districts. How do we get marketing planning to move forward? Some of you get it right. Some of you have the support. Some of you don't have the support. Some of you need a little extra help to move forward. The new tagline, "Where the locals go," perfectly sums up what Main Street is all about. It reflects our diversity, and it reflects the best of what we have to offer in the city of Boston. So again, I want to thank Citizens Bank. I want to thank Boston Main Street Foundation. I want to thank all of the Main Streets that are here today for your incredible work that you do every single day. Because the work that you have, we talk about this a lot, we can bring all the GEs to Boston. I'm not saying they're not important, because they're very important to our city. But the local businesses help drive our economy, helps honor the diversity in our neighborhoods, helps bolster the unique identities of all all of Bostonians in our communities. And it also sends a message to Washington that the high percentage of our businesses in the city of Boston that are in our main streets and around the city of Boston are businesses that were started by, you know what, immigrants. And that's who we are. So if they took a page out of our book and focused on creating more opportunities and more economic developments and more supports for small businesses and more supports for hiring people, and spent more time on that and less time on some of the other things they're talking about today, we certainly would continue to be a very strong and great country. So I look forward to continue working with all of you. I'm excited to watch Where the Locals Go grow. And I have, what would an announcement be without a citation? So I have a little bit of a citation certificate of recognition, and this certificate of recognition is presented to Citizens Bank in honor of the generous donations to the Boston Main Street Foundation. The City of Boston would like to thank you for all the work you have done to enhance our community and in appreciation of your commitment to ensuring that Boston Main Street is able to rebrand, revitalize, and reinvent their organizations. On behalf of the City of Boston, we would all like to thank you, Rick, and the entire team at Citizens Bank for your great work. Thank you very much.
Wow. I was definitely not expecting that. Mayor Walsh, thank you for being here and for your leadership with the Main Streets program. We all at Citizens appreciate your leadership and all the great things that you're doing in the city to create strong, vibrant Main Streets, and certainly all of us at Citizens appreciate the fact that you coordinated your tie to our brand color today. It's good Kelly green. To Joel, for your leadership, thank you. This has been a long time coming, and I'll save my story about our earlier conversation for a second, but we've had a long partnership with Joel, and which has largely brought us here today. Chris and the team here, I know of Chris's charitable work across Boston. It is no surprise that he's put his thumbprint down here as well. So Chris, for all that you and your team do, I see you in the back there somewhere. Thank you for having us and for being such a leader in our community. I do want to recognize my colleague, Carrie Harrison, who also came over from the Senate side of the House, who runs our work here, our community work for Citizens. She's been with us a year. So if you haven't had an opportunity to introduce yourself to her, please take that opportunity. All of us at Citizens, we're very proud supporters of the Main Streets Initiative. In fact, it was Carrie this morning who reminded me that over the course of our partnership, we've donated over $420,000 to the Main Streets Initiative. A year ago, over a year and a half ago, we got together with Joel and others and said, listen, we're trying to make a positive impact. We're trying to focus in on the quality of what we do in the community. And we think we could do something really impactful. And at many occasions, it's tempting to kind of take, peanuts and kind of throw it out everywhere. We wanted to bring our stuff together and really make a positive impact. And I remember Joel's eyes lighting up a little bit because I think he was a little nervous. But certainly he and the entire Main Streets team rose to the occasion, and we're very excited to be here to celebrate the 5 local Main Streets that got awards as a result: Alston Village, Eggleston Square, Fields Corner, Greater Grove Hall, and Greater Ashmont. So on behalf of all of us, we're excited to be here as well to celebrate with you and your success, and look forward to all of the great things that we're going to continue to do together. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. I actually just wanted to call up Philippe Saad, who is the board president of Greater Ashmont Main Streets, and our hosts, along with Chris, who Philippe will introduce, to say a few words.
Thank you.
So welcome everybody to our district. It's really nice to see everybody in the room. I don't do this often as these gentlemen do here, especially the mayor and everybody here in the room. But when I do it, I usually like to start with a personal story. So bear with me for a little bit, because the story is directly related to the importance of the rebranding for Greater Ashmont Main Street. More than 5 years ago, my partner decided to open his business right next door, Back to Life Chiropractic. And none of us had a history in running small businesses. So doing a little Google, we found this organization, St. Mark's Area Main Street, a funny name. We didn't understand what it did exactly, its relationship to the church, not the church. I go to St. Mark's Church. We live in that area, so there was some confusion. After some guidance, a few times, we kind of understood that it's kind of separate. When I joined the organization, maybe a year and a half later, I faced people's confusion when I, as a board member, used to go out to the community and said, what do we do and what's our name and what's our mission and vision? Having this very important landmark in our neighborhood being St. Mark's Church, and what are we? How is our relationship with that? Needless to say that Jen, our executive director, keeps getting phone calls. Are we the church? Can we donate some things? She has the number of the church right above her desk, and she just directs them directly to the rectory over there. So when I came on board as the president of the organization, one of the first things that we saw as a board very important to do is to lead this effort for rebranding. For many aspects, for the confusion aspect that I talked about, but also because the organization was changing and the neighborhood was changing, and we needed an organization, a brand, a name that reflects the diversity, the energy, the new face, and all the work that's being done around here. So those of you who have gone through this, it's something big. It's a massive effort, and to do it well, there needs to be fun and there needs to be dedication. But at the end of the day, as of standing here today in front of all of you, we're very proud of our accomplishments. I think we did it. We did it very well. So my thank you first goes to Citizens Bank Foundation and Boston Main Street Foundation for allowing this to happen. Thank you for entrusting us with a large amount of $25,000, and thank you for supporting organizations like us in the community. Thank you, Boston Main Street, for your support throughout the process and helping us with additional professional services beyond the grant fund for design and signage work. Our new design made us eligible for logo design work under the BMS TA program, a restore signage grant from BMS for our new blade sign, and the pro bono hours from CTP. Further, the rebranding was an opportunity to commission a fully detailed professional mixed report study of the neighborhood through a fellow from the Graduate School of Design at Harvard. The report is right behind on the table, and you can see all the different branding elements that help us propel this brand into the neighborhood. We also got a website redesign, greaterashmontmainstreet.org, social media brand launch, and the procurements of public visibility items like those ones that you see behind that. I want to thank my fellow board members who were for their dedication and perseverance throughout. I see some of them here in the room. If you're a board member, please raise your hand. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Because of your hard work and dedication, when it was time to make a decision, we reached a decision with consensus. There was no need for voting. Everybody was on board. Everybody was happy with the product. Thank you, Lindsay Hill Design, who's here with the staff members. Thank you for the outstanding service that you did and for understanding who we wanted to be as an organization. Our brand is beautiful, it's powerful, it's effective, and it's representative of who we are. So thank you. Thank you, Lusterity, the event planning firm that worked very hard for our brand launch last spring, for our main gala. Thank you very much. It was a memorable event and very financially successful launch. Thank you, Jen Carté, our executive director. Jen, without your work and guidance, we actually would not be here today. Jen led this initiative sensitively. It's a complex effort, and she led it in a very remarkable way. The rebranding effort was a priority, and she was dedicated to make it a successful process and outcome, and we did it, and she did it. So thank you very much. Jen organized the right amount of meetings, so to not exclude anybody. She planned eloquently the phasing out of the old brand. It's a very sensitive thing to do, and coordinated seamlessly the launch of the new brand, all in line, in sync with a new website, social media, gala launch, a plethora of paraphernalia stuff that is right here on the table that helped us be very much present in the community. It was a successful effort because of the generous gift of Citizens Bank. We love our new brand, we love our new logo, and we love our refreshed image in the community. We put it on t-shirts, water bottles, everywhere, stickers, glass, everything. We love it. So we're eternally grateful for that. So thank you very much. I want to thank Chris Douglas for hosting us tonight and for your work in the community. I think none of the people who spoke before me has they've said enough and more than, everything that I wanted to say as well. My last thank you goes to Mayor Walsh. Thank you for you and your staff, and for your continuous commitment to support Boston's communities, and for empowering organizations like us. Thank you, Greater Ashmont, and we did it. Thank you. I'm going to introduce Okay. So I think that's Chris Douglas was going to say a few words, but he has to leave. But in his name, he's welcoming everybody here. So thank you very much.
So thank you, everyone, for coming. You see one great example here in Greater Ashmont of the work that was done with the Challenge Grant, but there are 4 other districts who've also done phenomenal work with their Challenge Grants, and we're going to keep working to put all that information out and let everybody see all the great things that are happening in Main Street. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day.